Hello everybody, it's Sean Garvey and welcome to another special edition of the BV Mobile Apps Podcast. Now, if you are new to the podcast, this is the podcast in which we spotlight and highlight the amazing clients currently using BV mobile apps. Now, I want you all to stay tuned because we're going to give you some additional information about BV mobile apps. In the meantime, between time, we have a very special guest on the telephone line all the way from the DC area. He's been DJing since 1988. And he is the founder, the CEO, the president, all of the above. Also, he is the proud member of the iconic and amazing Fleet DJs. We're going to talk about all things considered DJing and more. On the phone lines, we have the one and only DJ Danny T on the phone lines. Hey, what's up? Good day, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. DJ Danny T, how you doing?
I'm good. How you doing, Sean? Thanks for having me. I'm doing great.
Thank you. And let me just say kudos to your Instagram. We're going to give our listeners some information about how they can follow you on social media. But your Instagram is on and popping. I see you on the gram there, and you have so many pictures on Instagram. You look like you are having fun these days.
Yes, I am. Yeah, I'm recently retired, a young retiree. So I'm starting to enjoy life a little more now, and so with balancing the music and the life with the family and our new grandson, everything's going great.
Great, and it's always so great to hear that. DJing in 1988. When did you know that you wanted to start DJing?
Well, really, it started when I was, I guess, younger. When I was in school, I always loved music, and my parents knew that I loved music. So my father had bought me a component set when I was in junior high, and my mother worked at a store called Woolworths, I think it was, and so they used to sell records. So she used to always bring me records home. I started listening to rock music when I was younger, so she always brought me rock records home. And so that's when my love of music started. And then going into high school, I started playing drums, so getting into all types of music by then. And then DJing came along one day, I guess about in '84, I saw Run DMC on a TV show, the Jam Master Jay. And so I always liked kind of playing music if I was at a party or something. We really didn't have a DJ, but somebody was in charge of playing the music. So I always liked to do that. So when I seen him and he had two turntables, and I had a record player and maybe a tape deck, and I said, that's what I want to do, So this was like in 85 or something like that. And it took a couple of years for me to, to really say, okay, this is what I want to do. I'm going to go buy this equipment, and then I'm going to start learning what he does. So that's right. How it all started.
Do you remember a time where you was at a party, at a club, or some type of function, and you had your set? Has there ever been a day or a night where you felt like you killed it, you rocked the crowd, or was there a time where you felt like, dang, I could have did this better, I was off that night, it may not have been my best performance? Like, describe your experience as a DJ.
Well, with DJing, I think a lot of times we base our performance by crowd participation. And so, if you're seeing the crowd and they're having a good time, you feel good that that you feel that you've done a good job. Sometimes, you don't see a good response, but, afterwards they may come up to you and say, hey, we love the music, great job. So even when I teach younger DJs, I tell them can't always go by what the response is, because sometimes you might not have a dancing crowd. So I kind of learned not to base how I feel on what I see. But like I said, being a DJ, when you see people dancing and stuff, that's like the best feeling, to have. I think that probably when I was younger, I used to get frustrated, whatever. But I always, after every gig, I always would go back and say, what would I have I done better? Would I have played different songs? Would this song or whatever? Would I play different types of music? So I always critique that after every gig what I could have done better.
Millennial Ex Entertainment is a company that you founded along with your wife. What does Millennial Ex Entertainment consist of?
Well, when we my first company I started was I didn't start running a mobile DJ company until maybe 2001, around that time, and I was DJing at a small club at the time. And, wasn't making really a whole lot of money doing that. And so I there was a magazine, I can't remember, what I used to subscribe to, and they started talking about DJing weddings and stuff. So I started the company, back then it was called Wheels of Steel Productions. I started around 2001. And from 2001 to 2006, that's all I was doing. I was doing weddings, parties, corporate events, wherever someone needed a DJ. And that was basically just kind of running it, out of my home and by myself. I met my wife in 2006, and so she started doing these events with me. She started emceeing with me, emceeing weddings and corporate events, mostly adult events. She doesn't do the kids events. So at that time, I was going to the DJ expos and one in Atlantic City and a couple other ones, and I was learning about the business, or how the business works.
Right.
And then that's when I started to put the company together for my wife, and we legally created the company, and that's what we've been doing ever since.
I've been around so many DJs most of my life, and I would tell myself I always wanted to be a DJ, just because of the synergy that a lot of DJs put out there when they are performing at different events, and the kind of music that they play in order to make the crowd feel good. What kind of advice did you get from other people in order to perfect your craft?
Well, when I started in the area that I was in, there weren't many DJs in my neighborhood. Matter of fact, if I remember, it was only maybe 2 or 3 of us, and there were, of course, other DJs in the area. So if you weren't really part of a clique of DJs, then you were kind of on your own, and you kind of had to learn on your own. And unfortunately, the couple of DJs that I knew, they were more out looking, trying to, look out for themselves to see what they could get. One thing, I always had, me being in D.C., a lot of my music collection, when hip hop started blowing up, came from New York. My ex-wife at the time, she was from Brooklyn, so her father lived out on Long Island. So we would, always going up there, and I was buying all the records that really wasn't coming out in the D.C. area yet, because D.C. has always been a heavy go-go area. New York, New York hip hop hadn't started blowing up yet, so I would buy all my stuff up there. And then so a lot of those DJs, it was always, trying to, I guess, get what they wanted from me. And so we so basically I had to learn everything on my own until until later on when I started networking with other DJs at the DJ expos or whatever, and then that's when I started learning more from others.
For those who are just tuning in to the podcast, BV Mobile Apps Podcast, yours truly, Sean Garvey, on the phone lines with our special guest, DJ Danny T. He is on the phone lines. And you are also a radio DJ, which is another thing that me and DJ Danny T have in common. How long have you been a radio DJ?
Well, I've just been doing internet radio. So I don't do terrestrial. But for the Fleet DJs, I run our Fleet Gospel Radio, and I program the songs and schedule most of the DJ tracks on there as well as my own. And mine plays Saturday and Sunday at 12 p.m. And then also we have one. I'm with the DMV Fleet DJs, and we just split it off to the Maryland DJs, Maryland Fleet DJs, and so DMV Power Radio. I also manage that, and that's for most of our, some of our Fleet DJ team in the DMV. We have some other Fleet DJs that are on the station as well, and then some others that's not affiliated with Fleet. We have their mixes on there also. Fleet. So I mean, I enjoy choosing the music that's on the station, and also the main thing I get out of it that I really enjoy is when an artist comes to me and they just want to get some exposure on their record, and so I'll put their music on the station, and I have a indie hour scheduled on both stations, so the artists can they can have their friends and family tune in and listen to their new track play when I have it scheduled.
Who are some of the artists that you're feeling right now when you play their music on Fleet Radio?
On the Fleet Gospel Radio, it's quite a bit of.
It's a list.
Some of the ones I work with locally in my area, Rainbow Israel and Tornado 418. I have a concert coming up with him. He was injured in an accident a little over a year ago, and this is his first comeback concert coming up in next week, matter of fact. So his music, Russ Shank. I've done a few shows with him, and it's been we did one with Ruby Green, Al Green's daughter. I've enjoyed a couple of her songs. So and then also MC Nice out of I think he's out of California. He's been a big supporter of Fleet Gospel, and I enjoy his music as well.
Now these are names that I have to literally Google myself or find them on social media. I'm always curious about the independent scene and seeing who all is hot out there and who deserves to shine. There's so many independent artists out there to choose from all areas, whether it's gospel, hip hop, R&B, soul, and other genres of music. As a DJ, do you find it overwhelming at times to get all this music and you just be wondering, how am I going to play every artist's song? You know what I mean? Like, do you find it overwhelming?
Well, I like to, I usually, the music I choose for the station, I like to pick choose the artists that have themselves together professionally, that they have, their track is mastered, it has the artist information and the song information on it, where I don't have to, it doesn't say the name of the song is track 01 or something like that. And that they have a e-tape, electronic press kit. That they have something that showing that they're putting some kind of work into their project, and so those are the people I will put their music on, and I don't, it's not, I don't pick songs that are always my favorite or whatever, because it could be someone else's favorite. But as long as you have a good package together, I put it on my station. Like I said, if I feel that it's something you just threw together or whatever, and then I'll tell you. I say, if I was on terrestrial radio, then this probably wouldn't even gotten past anyone because you didn't package it right. And then also with the fleet, the other station I do with the secular, do you have a clean track? And it doesn't matter. Sometimes I really, we may have a dirty track to play on the station, but when someone submits something to me, I like to at least teach them about the music business, and you should have a clean track, because if I was on terrestrial radio, then you would be kind of stopped in your shoes at that point, because you don't have a clean track to give me.
Now you hear that, independent artists, you listening to BV Mobile Apps podcast, you hear that? That's the requirement for all independent artists. You got to have your stuff together to be heard on Fleet DJ Radio and or Fleet Gospel Radio. That's the protocol. All right. DJ Danny T on the phone lines with yours truly, Sean Garvey, right here on the BV Mobile Apps podcast. And speaking of BV Mobile Apps, DJ Danny T also has his own app. And I'm proud to say that DJ Danny T is a big supporter of BV Mobile Apps. How long have you been in partnership with BV Mobile Apps?
Yeah, I really couldn't tell you how long. It's probably maybe 4 years or more. Mm-hmm. I met them when I first joined Fleet, and my relationship with them has been really good, and I consider them as friends as well, because they're so easy to work with, and the way they built the system is it's user friendly, and I've worked with, like I said, me being in this business, I've tried all types of different things to better our business, and what they offered was like one of the easiest things to get started, and I highly recommend it to every one of my friends. I've been at the DJ Expo, and I've grabbed some of them and say, look, I want you to go meet these guys. You need to go ahead and get with them, and this will definitely help your business. When
you first got the app through BV Mobile Apps, how was it to you as an individual? Were you like, I don't know how to work this thing. I don't know anything about apps and this new age technology that we in right now. How user friendly was it for you when you first got the app?
Well, it was very user friendly. It was easy enough that I ended up. I now have 3 apps that I manage.
Wow. Okay.
I have my DJ Danny T app that I use for our business. That also promotes Millennial-X. Also, I manage the DMV Fleet DJs app and then the Fleet Gospel app. And I guess when I first started off, one thing that BV Mobile did for me is, and they do for others, is they teach you, as they're showing you how everything works, they're teaching you how apps are, how they work, how the business works. Getting your information set up with Google Play and Apple, on Apple Store, so they teach you all that different parts of the app business. So it makes it easier for you to manage. Now, though they do manage a lot of it for you, but still, you learn a lot from them. So when it comes time to make changes, or if it comes to say Google Play or someone, well, they have something that you have to do to keep your app running. You already understand it, and you know why, and it's easy to keep your app running without it getting interrupted due to some kind of legal situation that you didn't know about.
What are two favorite things you love about the app?
For all three of them, I guess access to music, being a DJ, access to videos, so people can they can see what I'm doing, or they can see what the Fleet Gospel team is doing, and and probably with my personal one, the DJ Danny T one, being able to interface with our business. They can go in and schedule do a request to see if we're available for that day, and then if we are available, they can go ahead and put their information in, and then I get a reservation for it, and then also we can assign, because I'm not the only DJ under our company. We have 4 other DJs that work for us. Mm-hmm. So I can assign whatever DJ might be best fit for that type of event.
It's accessible. People can go in, make their reservations, reserve you to come out and perform at their next wedding, their next party, their next occasion, event, through the phone, through the app. That's how easy it is. Right. That's how accessible it is.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
So once again, let our listeners know how they can get the app. How can our listeners get the app, or the apps with an S at the end? How can they get the apps available to them right now?
You can go to Google Play or Apple Store, and I forgot what the different companies might call theirs, but you can go on there and for myself, DJ Danny T, and my company Millennial Ex Entertainment, you just look up DJ Danny T with a T. There's a DJ Danny out there as well, which happened to be one of my friends, and he has the app also. So DJ Danny T, and then also for the Fleet ones I managed, Fleet Gospel DJs, and also the DMV Fleet DJs, and DMV stands for DC, Maryland, and Virginia.
All right, well, there you have it. DJ Danny T on the phone lines right here on the BV Mobile Apps Podcast with yours truly, Sean Garvey. Now, before we let you go, DJ Danny T, we like to do this thing called Fun Facts about our guests. So since we only have a little bit of time left in the podcast, I'm just going to do a rapid fire edition of Fun Facts, if you don't mind. So I'm just going to throw you some questions out there, and you can give me your best answers, okay?
Okay.
All right. Jet skiing or bungee jumping?
Bungee jumping.
Okay.
I don't know how to swim, so I wouldn't be on no jet ski.
Okay. Rocky Road or Cookies and Cream?
Rocky Road. Favorite.
You're going with Rocky Road. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Insecure or She's Gotta Have It on Netflix?
She's Gotta Have It. I'm old school.
Okay. Good answer. All right, let's do one more. Okay, you ready for this question?
Yep.
All right. King of R&B, Jacquees or R. Kelly?
I think R. Kelly might have relinquished that. I mean, musically, yeah, he despite his character, his music, R&B be is he's one of the greatest. You can't take that away from him, no matter what. He's created some of the greatest music in music history. But I think that being the king of something, you have to have a good character too. When you're a queen of something, you have to have a good character. So,
okay. That is true.
But it's not Jacquees.
My 2019 answer would have been Jacquees. That would be my 2019 answer.
Right.
For obvious reasons. All right. But thank you so much, DJ Danny T, for coming on the phone lines and sharing your testimonies about BV mobile apps. And really quick, where can people follow you?
No problem. Thank you. Thanks for having me, and I enjoyed talking to you.
Where can people follow you at real quick on social media?
Oh, on Instagram is DJ Danny T _WOSP, and like I said, that was my old company, Wheels of Steel Productions. And on Millennial-X Entertainment, it's MILLENNIALXENT. And for the DMV Fleet DJs, DMV Fleet DJs, and then the Gospel Fleet DJs.
Okay, there it is. Real talk. DJ Danny T on the phone lines, and congratulations on coming up on 4 years of your partnership with BV Mobile Apps. We always do it big right here on BV Mobile Apps. So congratulations and much success to you and yours. And any shout outs? We got to do some shout outs. Any shout outs you want to give real quick?
Just shout out to my my Fleet DJ family. It's so many people, like I said, coming up with up on 30 years of DJing. I just know so many friends that I could not name all of them or even start, and I feel bad I would miss somebody. So everyone knows who they are.
Yeah. Charge it to the man's mind, not his heart. All right? DJ Danny T, DJ Danny T, thank you so much for calling in to the BV Mobile Apps Podcast.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Have a good one.
You too. This has been the BV Mobile Apps Podcast with yours truly, Sean Garvey. Make sure you check out my morning show each and every Monday through Friday morning from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Beat Break 87 FM, sponsored in part by BV Mobile Apps. And big shout outs to Gerald Oliveri and Marshall Lyons for helping me orchestrate this amazing interview. Now, if you want more information about BV Mobile Apps, or if you have any questions or feedback and you want to share some feedback to us on how you feel about the podcast, let us know what you think about the podcast by emailing us podcast@bvmobileapps.com. Once again, that is podcast@bvmobileapps with an S at the end.com for questions or feedback. Until then, we will talk to you all again on another edition of BV Mobile Apps Podcast. Have a great, wonderful day. Peace.
It's a new year. It's a new day. We're starting it over. Starting the day.